Welcome to the JAMODI podcast, where we interview coaches and leaders to find out not just what they do, but how they do what they do. Becoming the best version of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it. So all of those years of coaching, this may be difficult to think about the one thing that made your programs different, because every year, even though standards are the same, you'll have different players, they'll have different needs. But if you could think to one thing over the years that made your programs different, what do you think that would be?
Relationship would be huge, because we wanted to develop relationships, not with just our players, students. I call them by name, give them high fives, greet them with a hello. I'd greet them with, one word like joy, peace. Billy Bob comes in and it might be happiness. The next one, it might be love. And so you're planting these seeds, or I did. I planted seeds, and I was always really concerned about the relationships of calling them away from the gym, like on a weekend or maybe the Christmas break or spring break, just staying in touch, that it was more than just basketball, because I really wanted to be a double goal coach, where you not only coached them in the hoops, but you also coached them for life. And we would have these talking points. And I learned that from like FCA and Zig Ziglar and Positive Coaching Alliance. I just tried to learn, because I was a rookie, still quite a bit of a rookie, just trying to navigate things and make things work. But I think the relationships, and you can't really have a relationship if you don't get to know somebody. Right. That's huge. And I don't know where I got this from, but I picked up from somebody else. I mean, I didn't invent it. It was called A Short Course in Human Relations, How to Get Along with People. And there were 6 items, and I just call them the 6 be quicks. If you want to get along with others, this is a way, not the only way, but these are 6 real important things that you might want to consider doing to be able to get along with people. And if you can't get along with your boss, you may not have a job.
Not long.
No, you need to learn to, and it helped change my life when I understood how important people skills. But it all goes back to relationships, and those 6 be quicks. Those probably helped me more than it helped what I was teaching to the children.
Can you go through some of those 6 if they come to mind?
Oh, absolutely. The first one, this is a killer for most men in general, because, boys and men in general, we have a tendency to be just a tad scummy. We can be real arrogant, obnoxious. We really think we're something like real special. Mm-hmm. And what I tried to do is to teach our students that they were fearfully and wonderfully created. I wouldn't say by God. I'd use code words like, you were fearfully and wonderfully created by the big coach, or a famous person said this or said that. And remember, I'm in a public school.
Right.
So I wanted to navigate all that, although I had the support of the principal. All the principals that I worked for, they were so supportive. But that first be quick was it goes like this: says, I admit I made a mistake.
That's number 1.
Oh, and I tell you, to be able to apologize for a male species, to apologize, admit a mistake, ask for forgiveness, then just move on. See, all that's hard to do, in my opinion. You really have to work at it. The second be quick is, you did a great job. Just encourage people. So if you're an encourager, like Barnabas was in the good book, not much was written about Barnabas except he was an encourager. And so when you can compliment others, find things to compliment, be intentional. Yeah. And that's what I try to do in the classroom, in the hallways, in the gym. I would try to find things to compliment the kids, individually, call their names every day. And I'd call them, the names they wanted to be called as well, except for a couple of them. It was pretty cute. But anyway, that admit I made a mistake, that was the first one. You did a great job being encouragers, the second one. And to seek advice. I call it, what is your opinion? To always, because things are going to come up in life, and you need to be able, and that's what I teach the children as well, and the players and students, is have people that you can talk to, whether it's the counselor, the teacher, your grandmother, whoever it is. Just have people that you have a trust in, that you can talk to. One of the main, I think I've read things that happen with suicides is that they lose hope. They just lose hope and they become isolated. But I just really encouraged our students to really to just seek advice and get, the wise person learns from their own mistakes, but the wiser person learns from other people's mistakes. And so I'd give them those kind of things to think about. And I'd also have them to write things down. That's what I do. I write it down. And so I'd have them to take notes and just encourage them to get along with others. That next, be quick. This is so powerful too. And this is what I taught our students and players. The first thing that you do when you get home to see your mom, whoever's taking care of you, say, I love you. Love.
Yeah.
Oh, man. What the world needs is love, and more yes, love. Sir. In fact, that should be like in 1 Corinthians 14:1, it says that it ought to be our highest goal is to love. It's just most important. And I wouldn't give them a whole lot to go with it, but there's a whole lot to be said about love because it's so powerful. And I can remember my dear mother in East Texas, before she passed, I'd taken her to the little country church that I talked to you about, that I discovered my purpose at an altar of prayer. Well, my great-grandparents started that church, turn of the century. And so later in life, I committed to her to take her to church at least once a month to that little country church. And one of those times we had left, and she loved everything about Sundays, just everything about it. She had a bus ministry in the 50s, early 60s, without a bus, without a phone. She'd just drive the country, drop off the 4 kids, and she'd pick up people. She just loved everything about it. Huh. In fact, there's a song written about my mom. It's entitled, she told me one time, son, there's just not enough Sundays in the week anymore. So a friend of mine who's a songwriter and a recording artist, he wrote a song, Not Enough Sundays. It's a true story about my mom through my eyes. But what I was going to tell you about love, we'd left the church, driving down old Mayo Road, little country rough road, and she said, son, I just want you to know I love everybody that you love. I looked at my mom and I said, repeat that again. East Texas slang, we'd say, explain that again. And so she said, I love everybody that you love. And I said, explain that to me. And so she talked about how I was, when Christ was on the cross, I was on his mind.
Mm.
Yeah. And you were on his mind. Coach Saban was on his mind. And she said, I just have a deep love for you. Whew.
Wow.
And I said, but you know, Mom, you don't know everybody I know. She said, that's the point. Because I love you so much. I love them, and I don't even know them. Wow. That was strong.
Yes, sir.
Strong. And, you know, if you don't have love, everything you say is really, you know, if you don't have love, it's meaningless.
Yeah.
Without love, it just doesn't work very well. If you're a coach, a teacher, a parent, you know, whatever it is, it's just incomplete, in my opinion, if you don't do it. And I hadn't always, you know, I make mistakes as well.
Yeah.
A lot of mistakes, and I'm still learning, but I am trying to get better. And love is so important with that. The next, be quick. This is a great one too. It's 2 words. Be quick to say thank you, to show appreciation, gratitude. Because thank you is, in fact, we teach our players and students to do thankfuls every day. Do at least like 3 thankfuls every day. At least tell 3 people every day. And when you go home to your dear mom or granny or parents, the 5 words that you need to say to them is, I love you and thank you for all you do. And it's amazing. If you have a lot of love in your heart and you're thankful, and of course the scriptures, it's you know, it's all about love and being thankful and those kind of things. And the most important one word that we would teach them is, it's we, it's us, it's the team. To dive yourself, to give it up for something bigger. And in hoops, that's the team. And you know, the Larry Johnson, C.J. Miles, we had a lot of great players, and they were all about the team. And when our players went to college, I'd get so many calls from the coaches. Is this kid really like this? Because, you know, they're all about the team. They're willing to dive themselves to give it up for what the coach wants, what the coach directs, and what's best for the team. Not what is best for C.J. Miles or Larry Johnson or whoever. It's what is best for the team. And so that was those 6 be quicks. And if I can do those 6 be quicks, I can get along with people.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we value relationships. Relationships are huge. In fact, if you don't have a relationship with the big coach, it's going to be hard to get into heaven. And so, in the meantime, we need to get along with people down here. And that's a little short course. I can't even remember where I got that. And I've changed it up a little bit. But
it's so good though. So good. And I love even the order of it. It really flows well. And I see the value so much in with whether it's just in class with students or with our teams. And I just from listening to you talk, I mean, I can see how a 41-year career of focusing on. I love the 2 goal part. I believe, just to be honest, I've even at a place like Faith, I focused on the 1 goal too much, focused on the basketball piece too much. And I think when you do that, the relationship piece, the players can sense it, and that relationship piece falls apart. But being a 2 goal coach, that's just a great reminder.
Well, thank you. You know, those 6 be quicks in this short course in human relations, if you notice the string through all 6, it's about humility. It's about others. Like the first one, I admit I made a mistake. I would tell our parents, when your players come home after practice and games, they're going to smell real good. And I'd always pause and they'd say, well, why is that? I said, well, because they're going to shower, shave, shampoo, shine their shoes, use some deodorant and some magic foo-foo. They're going to smell real good. And if they're not flushing that commode and washing their hands and wiping down the sink, and if they don't say, I love you and thank you, you let me know, because we have a remedy for those. They'd get excited about that because they knew that their son was coming home smelling real good. Because when you put in a lot of work, you're going to sweat, perspire.
Yeah.
And we tried to make it special for those kids. And in Dallas ISD, we didn't have much resource. I think our budget was like $500 for the year. So I raised a lot of money for the kids to have, like practice shoe, a game shoe. We had a program for them. I spent a lot of time helping them get scholarships, and talking to our players what it would take to get a scholarship. You just don't show, it's what you do away from us.
Right.
We teach you a lot of, hopefully, good practice habits and good life habits. And you need to practice the game away from us. And you also need to practice the game of life away from us, because whatever you do in the dark, it will come to the light eventually. And so we just wanted them to have the best jobs in America, to be the best husband, be the best dad, the best employee. I taught them how to be, as you do, good employees.
Yep.
Whether it's showing up a little early, always look nice, smell good. There's just a lot of things about life. Don't be in a hurry to leave every day. Maybe work a few minutes.
Yeah. And so many great reminders. And I always, I didn't have big goals or aspirations for starting this. And because there's a lot of podcasts out there and a lot of great ones. And so I thought, at the end of the day, if I just get to talk with people that I've always wanted to, and I get to learn from them, and maybe there's something that will help me to be better for my guys, then this whole thing is worth it. And this is one of those conversations where I think there's probably a lot of coaches that feel this way, that it feels like that it's less about them as people, their future as students, as husbands, as employees, and it's more about even from the parents' perspective, it just feels like they care more about the basketball and how can you help them with that. But it almost to the point where you feel like you need to not worry about the other stuff, the leadership qualities, and like what I used to do with my guys, a living without regret series, 12 different words, things like that. But
awesome.
Well, and that's, I think what you're inspiring or reminding me is that we have to return to that, keep that the main thing. And obviously the basketball part is important, but thank you for that reminder. Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.